And here we are, folks. We have made it. The 2023 and 2024 NFL playoffs. They're finally here. We've gone from 32 down to 14, and we're going to lose 6 of them this weekend. And again, I ask still, what are the damn points of the 7th seed? Because they usually don't do shit. And I can't wait for this weekend to prove me wrong and make me look like an idiot. Roll the intro. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the wild card round of the 2023-2024 NFL season and my prediction picks. I'm your host, Catherine of the Blind Canadian Cat. I say meow, I roll intros, and I'm going to touch on that 7th seed again. I will say this. I talked shit on the play-in shit for the NBA. 9th and 10th seeds, 7th and 8th don't even do that well anyway, so it doesn't matter who plays for what or who gets in. But the NBA did prove me wrong. 10 seeds won games against 9 seeds, and while they ultimately couldn't get past them, we had a 7 seed reach the conference finals and an 8 seed reach the NBA finals. So the lower seeds, at least in the NBA, prove something. Let's see if the lower seeds in the NFL can do something. I have my doubts, but that's why the playoffs in the NFL are so special. It takes just one. Okay, business first. Let's recap last week. And it was pretty much the same thing overall. We did go back to 10-6. We getting through these final 3 weeks when I said we needed to get under 18 or get 17 left, and I said we need to have a couple 10-6 and then maybe 1-11-5 or something. That's not. We averaged out 10-6 for those 3 final weeks, bringing us to a season-ending 171 and 101. So didn't get that 100 mark, but we still overall had a really good season. I don't have the percentages on me, but what I'll do is I'll take that away because spreads and totals kind of shit the bed at the end of the year, so we're not going to worry about that. I'll put up here percentages. You can't just do records anymore because I added the games, and I've been doing this for way too damn long. But here, I'll add the percentages of all my previous years and see where it stacks up overall with how we did. And I think we averaged out. Again, I could be wrong. I didn't do the math, but I think we're averaging out what we usually do. And yeah, with that, like I said, spreads and totals, I kind of shit the bed near the end. And it is what it is. But we are now on to the playoffs. It's a whole new bracket. And for those who have been following, this time, with playoffs, as I always do, we will be doing totals along with this game, with the games as well. So no more totals on Twitter. They're going to be on here. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for the 6 wildcard games on Super Wildcard Weekend. Starting off with Houston and Cleveland. If you haven't been watching the NFL long enough, Houston always plays the opening wildcard game. They always do. I don't know who designed that, I don't know, blah, 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 but Houston somehow always gets the opener for wildcard weekend. So, it is what it is. But Cleveland's coming to town. If you remember, Cleveland beat them a couple weeks ago. Stroud did not play. Cleveland had no kicker for most of the game, so it was kind of a wonky shit show of a game as is. And you don't really know what to do. But Cleveland did win that game pretty convincingly. But again, I can't argue too much about backup quarterbacks for Houston when Joe Flacco is the 4th-string quarterback or the 4th-string quarterback they played this year. So I can't really argue, but that being said, Cleveland, known for their defense, known for that. Myles Garrett, arguably Defensive Player of the Year. And just, it's a veteran, experienced team. Kevin Stefanski kept this team afloat with that defense and multiple quarterbacks going in and out. Shit, you'd think, especially with losing Nick Chubb as early as they did, the fact that this team still found their way to the 5th seed, You gotta give them credit. You gotta give them credit. That being said, Cleveland is a 2.5 point favorite in this game, and the total is set at 44.5. Which Houston had like a high total last week, but they both came a little short on it, hung around there in the low 40s. Now we're back here in the mid 40s, except with Cleveland that has a more don't give a fuck kind of offense. But again, you could argue that this is a game between veterans and rookies, experience and no experience. While the Browns have been whatever you want to call the Browns, Kevin Stefanski has played in a playoff game. I'm now just remembering, no way, Kevin Stefanski was not in that playoff game against Pittsburgh. He had COVID. It just occurred to me. But whatever, he had experience against KC, and they kept that game close. And this Texans team is not that KC team. So whatever it is, it's what it is. Cleveland's more experienced, and like, they just have something to them. They are arguably a top 3 team in the AFC. So it's like, I'm kind of leaning that way. And then Houston, it's not to say that they're young or their inexperience is going to come into play at some point, because I do think that team has played really well, coached well, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't, they're not there. They got their division, thanks to a collapse, but they got the division. Incredible season, build on it, try to become like a playoff regular rather than just boom, you're here. But Houston, great run, hell of a season. I love what they did, but I don't think they have enough to keep up with Cleveland. Had Tank Dell not got hurt and Tank Dell would be healthy, we could have talks, we could have discussions. But no Tank Dell. We love Nico Collins, but I just don't think with Mari Cooper, David Njoku, and all the other pieces with Cleveland, and Flacco's just not giving a fuck. Let's just yeet it down. I think Cleveland takes this. And at 2.5, with low enough spreads, you just kind of take it regardless. And yeah, I think Cleveland, and with 44.5, I do think Houston tries to show a little more. So I think it could take some chances early, make it interesting. But I do think Cleveland comes and controls it for the most part. But with 44.5, I'm going to take the over on that. I think Houston does enough to make it a game. But I think Cleveland is just a better football team overall. So I'm going to take Cleveland to win this game, cover the 2.5, and go over 44.5. Second game, we have the Chiefs and the Dolphins. And KC gonna be cold. It is gonna be cold. I'm telling y'all right now. We're on technically Thursday night, but it's Friday morning. It's just past midnight, so we're on Friday for all intents and purposes, but it's Thursday night. Temperature right now is 16 degrees outside. And for the record, I live maybe 4 hours from Arrowhead Stadium right now. I live 4 hours away from Arrowhead Stadium. It's 16 degrees where I'm at, and they're saying by game day for them, it might be below 0. Deadass below 0 by the time kickoff starts. And you can say whatever about these teams, their trajectories, all this nonsense. It's a warm weather team going somewhere cold. And while it's not always, more often than not, they don't do well. It's not to say that this Miami team can't win, because heaven forbid KC's offense has done nothing all year to make us believe in them. So it's defense heavy, rely on the weather, help you out, home field. What are you gonna do with KC here? So this feels like a tight game, mostly because Miami is not going to be able to function well, and KC just hasn't. Miami's lost its juice. Miami sucks against good teams anyway, so it's like, take your pick, take your poison on this. That being said, I do like KC. They're at home. Miami doesn't play well against good teams. And it is what it is. Miami had a chance to win the division and be fine, but Buffalo bullshit. I don't really know what else to explain it with. But Miami, at this point, you had a chance, you blew it, and now you're not gonna win shit. I don't think Miami can go into KC and win this game. I do not. Tyreek Hill may very well have a good game, but I don't think they can go into KC and win this game. I'm taking the Chiefs. 4.5 is a bit high because KC's hard to trust sometimes on offense, but I'm gonna lay it. I think Miami has a not so good time playing in a way below freezing temperatures game. This is not 25. This is not 30. This is maybe 0. Wind chills will make it feel like -5, -10. People who spend a lot of their time in Florida are not going to enjoy Kansas or Missouri weather. That's a reference to something else, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, KC over Miami. And with 44, I'm taking the under. Again, KC I don't trust. Miami doesn't play well against good teams. And if it's going to be snowing, it's going to be hard to come by for points. KC, cover the 4.5, under 44. And next up, you got your Sunday games opening up in the morning, or I guess noon my time, but like 10 a.m. Pacific Coast, 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern Coast. You got Buffalo and Pittsburgh. More than likely, probably the least intriguing of the games. Mostly because, like, congrats, Pittsburgh. Congrats beating Baltimore's backups and, winning your other games anyway, but, like, beating Baltimore's backup, good job. You got there, and Jacksonville Foley is one of the funniest shits that happened this year. So, yeah, you get it. Good job. I think back to this one tweet. I'll repost it once after this recording is done. You can see it on my Twitter. But there was a thing about have your predictions for the season before kickoff, and I bookmarked it. One of the tweets on there was 3 teams from the AFC North will make the playoffs, and Cincinnati was not one of them. That was the prediction. He predicted Ravens, Steelers, and Browns all in the playoffs, and the Bengals out. Now, keep in mind, that's amazing to me because in the preseason, I picked Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl. My preseason pick was Cincinnati over Philly. So, seeing that tweet and looking at where we're at now, like, damn, that's insane to think about. Insane. But, Pittsburgh, you're here. Congratulations. You get Buffalo. And by all means, there's no reason Pittsburgh should win this game. Like, Buffalo should treat them, insert stereotypical abusive comment here. Like, not to be controversial, but this should be, by all intents and purposes, a blowout. TJ Watt will not play in this game. This should be a blowout. By all meanings. But I don't trust Buffalo. Josh Allen turns it over way too much. And not only that, it's one thing, shit, ball bounced in the air, good play, whatever. Awareness by defense. They're bad turnovers. They are bad interceptions by Josh Allen. These are, why are you throwing this? And not the typical Brett Favre, oh hey, 50-50 ball, yeet. Like, this is just bad. Like, why are you doing this? So, like, for that reason, Buffalo is favored by 10 in this game. I refuse to lay that. I refuse. Buffalo should very well blow this game out the door. Halftime over. Josh Allen sits in the fourth quarter. By all intents and purposes, that is how this game should go. But I don't trust Josh Allen not to make this game something. And with Mason Rudolph, he's playing with house money. He was a third stringer. He got in there, won a game or two. And now he's randomly starting a playoff game. Mason Rudolph is starting a playoff game in 2024, the 2024 calendar year. That's where we're at, folks. And with that, it's like, they don't care. Mason Rudolph's not going to be the starter there next year. He knows that. We all know that. They'll give it back to Pickett, or heaven forbid, they go get somebody else. They're not going to keep Mason Rudolph. No. Hell no. So Rudolph don't give a fuck. So if the Bills keep giving Pittsburgh chances, then they're going to fuck around. Or at the very, like, this almost seems like a perfect opportunity for a garbage time touchdown. Or this just must be a game where Josh Allen tries to fuck the Bills over. They're not going to, because Pittsburgh's nowhere near equipped to take out Buffalo. But Allen's going to fuck him over somehow, some way. Call me biased, call me what you want. When you throw 18 interceptions in a year, I don't care who you are. It's hard to trust. Even when you started out 6-6, now you're the 2 seed. Good job. Miami fucked up. But you're the 2 seed. Good job. And again, you get Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, 7 seeds have no business being in the playoffs. Pittsburgh's here anyway. Congratulations. No. But yeah, Buffalo should win. They should win. There's no reason Buffalo should lose this game. And if they lose this game, fire somebody, cut somebody. I don't know. I've been like, Buffalo is too good of a team that they should not be this weird, inconsistent team like they've been. They should not. But with 10, I'm not letting 10. So Buffalo to win, Pittsburgh to cover. Total's at 36.5. I think that game's going to be relatively cold too. I don't remember the temperatures off the top of my head. But I think it's still going to be cold in there. But like, Buffalo's used to cold. Pittsburgh's used to cold. They're both used to cold. Again, like I said, Buffalo's going to turn the ball over, so Pittsburgh's going to have chances. Pittsburgh kind of doesn't give a fuck, so they're going to try anyway, and you maybe get a couple points lucky here and there. At 36.5, I'll take the over on that. Bills could easily score points when they feel like it, and because I'm kind of confident Buffalo's going to turn the ball over, Pittsburgh will have opportunities to score as well. I like 36.5. Bills to win, Steelers to cover, over 36.5 points. Next one we got the Cowboys hosting the Packers. Cowboys really, really lucked into this 2 seed. Because remember what happened. They had the inside track on them. What was it? I think they either had a game lead or they were tied in record. And it was like what was it? 4 or 5 games left. It was 4 games. 4 games left. Dallas and Philly could both win out. And because of tiebreakers, because Dallas lost to Arizona early on, Philly would win the tiebreaker. So Dallas was fucked regardless. And not only that, Dallas lost both to Buffalo and to Miami. So Dallas lost 2 games when they needed to win out and hope Philly lose 1 to clinch the 2 seed. So losing those 2 games fucked them completely. But somehow, some way, Philly lost games too. They lost that Seattle game. They lost, what was it? I don't even remember now at this point. They lost another game. They beat the Giants in a close game. And then they lost to Arizona. The same Dallas team that lost to Arizona, Philly also lost to them. So, with Philly falling apart miserably, Dallas was able to sweep in and take the 2 seed. They crashed hard, losing to both Buffalo and Miami, but because Philly's crashed even harder, Dallas still took the 2. And Dallas, you can say what you want about them. Thinking about them as the 2, Detroit in the 3. Now, you can argue about that Week 17 game. I'm not going to get too much into that. But I know Detroit fans are looking at it like we could have easily had the 2 seed here. It is what it is. Either way, you're hosting Green Bay, who, again, is another, like, okay, good job, guys. We were expecting kind of a bit of a drop. Because Jordan Love's obviously not Aaron Rodgers right now. So, like, there was a special draft. If they were bad, no one was going to say anything. And this year, it was a roller coaster. They had some ups, had some downs, went back and forth. At one point, I was done with them. At another point, I was ready to put them in the playoffs, saying they were a guaranteed 6th seed. But as we get here, they finished the season as a 7. So, props to them. And if Jordan Love continues to be this guy, and these receivers develop, they're going to be a real thing later down the line. They're still building. They're still figuring out. They got time. And we'll see how the Lions are in the future. But they got time. That being said, they're going to Dallas. Dallas at home. I'll hold my opinions on regular season performances. But Dallas, as far as we know, at home, they're unbeatable. You cannot win in Dallas. And the same applies here. I think Dallas wins this game. A full touchdown favorite? It's caused a pause when you want to sit here and ponder it. But in its realistic perspective, if both teams play up to who they really are, Green Bay as a team is not equipped to face Dallas. You can say Green Bay aura or Green Bay Legends past will fuck with the Cowboys. And I'm all for that. I'm sure that is a legitimate thing that could happen. But this is Dallas team, and we've probably done this before with this Dallas team feels real. We could go back and forth on that. But 2 seed, you're not a 1 seed, so you don't have 1 seed expectations. You're a 2 seed, you're getting 2 playoff home games, presuming you win this one, and hosting next week. Dallas, like, it's not pressure, especially because they kind of stumbled in a little bit. But they can sneak up. And I think this is one of those years where, like, you can catch them at the right spot. And they can go places. That being said, I will take the 7. I think Green Bay needs more time. It's a good story. I'm happy for Jordan Love. If there was like an NFL most improved player or some shit like that, 100% goes to him. But Green Bay had their fun. They're in Dallas. Dallas should be, I don't want to say like Buffalo blowing out Pittsburgh, but like this should be among the easier job games for Wildcard Weekend. And the thing that caught me interested, and maybe this is credit to Dallas's points per game at home, but the total is set at 50.5. Now, Dallas is supposed to be known for defense. Yes, Dak and CD is arguably the best QB wide receiver combo for the 2023 season, but I feel like Dallas has more defense. Now, you could argue with it being Joe Barry and how Joe Barry's done this year with Green Bay's defense. But I feel like that's way too high for me. Way too high in a game that realistically could be 23-10. 30-13. Something like that. I don't see it getting this high. I just don't. So we're going to take the Cowboys to win, Cowboys to cover, and we're going to go under 50.5. And now this next game, the highlight of the week, and man, the storylines feel so good for this one. The Detroit Lions, our lovely Lions, the off-season hype. We were all ready for them. Aaron Rodgers out of town. This is the Lions' year to win that division, host a playoff game, and see where we go. It is here, ladies and gentlemen. And who do they get? The team that they gave away their quarterback to. That blockbuster trade that sent Stafford to the Rams, Goff to Detroit, handful of picks. And wow, look at this team go. Detroit did it. They're at home, and the Rams somehow resurrected their season, and they're here as well. This is going to be fun. This will be a fun game. However you want to say it, go for it. The headlines are carrying, and for all intents and purposes, it should be a good game. 100%, high scoring, blah blah blah. And not to discredit the Rams. The Rams, they're this middle ground team. Keeping in mind, too, that gauntlet that Baltimore was supposed to go through, of all the teams they played, what was it? San Francisco, Jacksonville, Miami, the Chargers. LA Rams gave them their best game. A back and forth where Lamar had to lead a fourth quarter comeback touchdown, and 2 point to get a 3-point lead. And the Rams still traveled back down and and got into field goal range to force the game into OT. They traded punts back and forth in OT. It took a special teams play for Baltimore to come out. But that game went back and forth. So this Rams team has it in them to compete with the best. And the Lions themselves, they're streaky. They're hot, they're cold, they're not an easy read. They're not, you don't know. But with the mysticism, with this hype, I think they're owed, or they're in due time. This is their time. Let them shine. And they're just a better team. I like Detroit here. Detroit to win a playoff game for the first time in forever. They're hosting it. It's in their stadium. Sunday night. They're going to love it. The Lions are back. And this is all what we needed. I like Detroit here. Give me them. 3, I like. The line sat at 3.5 at one point, and I was tempted with that to give that to the Rams because I think this will be a back and forth game. I absolutely think that both teams are going to give it their all. Offensive plays, defensive plays, special teams. I think all of them are going to make a stand, make a name. Something's going to happen. And with that, this might be one of those games that comes down to who just ever has the ball last. But either way, I like this Detroit team, and I think they've earned that. I'm taking Detroit. I'm laying the 3, and with 51.5 as a total, throw me that over. This very well could be like a 38-35, 20. I don't know. 28-27, or I guess that doesn't work for spread shit, but like 31-28, 31-27, whatever scoreboard you want to throw in your own head. I like the Lions, and I think this shoots over that 51. I think this is the game. And there's no fear, no playoff drama for anyone. Both Stafford and Goff have playoff games that they have won. And both have won games, both on their home and on the road in the playoffs. So they both have the experience. Stafford, that Rams team, they have offensive weapons. They could go to work. Detroit with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. You kind of hope Sam Laporta is healthy. I don't know the news on Sam Laporta. He might be out this game. He probably is. But if he's there, you have weapons on both sides. This should be points. Taking the over. And the last one, the Monday night game, because with 6 wildcard games, they're like, no, we're not going to do 3 and 3. We'll throw one on Monday night. Give ESPN some love. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay waltzes into the postseason, winning the shit division with a god-awful performance against New Orleans. And then, thank the Lord, they were playing Carolina. That Tampa team, these last 2 weeks, had they had to play New Orleans or Atlanta to win this division, I don't think they get it. especially with the way New Orleans beat them last week, and the way I guess I can't really say much about Atlanta. Atlanta's been kind of shit, and I kind of hate them. And I'm very happy Arthur Smith got fired. This is one of those things where, like, the way that Arthur Smith and Desmond Ritter were kind of acting this year, or like the way, like, to me, it was similar to. I don't know if any of y'all remember my Philadelphia rant a couple of years ago. Well, it was like Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson just gave up on a game. They gave up, and it pissed me off so much. This is kind of what I am right now with Atlanta. I hated Arthur Smith. I'm tired of Desmond Ritter. I want them both gone. I want Taylor Heineke in a different situation because even he couldn't save them. I'm done. Desmond Ritter can go be a backup somewhere. Arthur Smith can go be some shitty coordinator for a team that's not going to make the playoffs in the next 3 years. And I pray Atlanta go grab Kirk Cousins, go grab Russell Wilson, go grab somebody worth a damn. Big money, give them the money, I don't care. You have weapons. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. You could arguably go out and draft some other weapons or line or defense. You have a defense. Jesse Bates in that secondary is one of the best offseason signings. I don't care what anyone says. That signing for Atlanta was one of the best in the offseason and one of the best during the season. You could build more on that defense or whatnot, but if I am Atlanta, I'm grabbing one of these big namers and I will pay them the money. Anywho, Atlanta that, whatever. And, but yeah, Tampa kind of crumbling into the playoffs. And speaking of crumbling into the playoffs, let's talk about Philly. What happened to this team? Like, you knew they clearly weren't the team they were last year. Like, you're not that. But they still had this run. They had this run. They wind up 10-1. And as much as ironic as it is to bring up the 2020 Pittsburgh Steelers, you don't accidentally get to this record. You can have events happen that go into your favor, but you don't accidentally into this record. But I'll tell you what you can do purposefully. Crash and fall like you did this season. What was it? Lost 5 of their last 6. Philly crashed, and they crashed hard. To the point now, here we are, you're the 5 seed still. And I don't know what to think of you. Because at this point, I don't trust your defense. You've made that Arizona team look like they could score with anybody. And now you've made the Giants with Tyrod Taylor. Bless Tyrod Taylor. I love that man. You made him look like a very starting quarterback. And you made that defense look good, too, when it was 50-50 half the season. These are 2 teams that dragged their ass across the carpet on their way into these playoff spots. And now, like, who do you take? Like, Tampa has to be thanking God that they needed just to beat Carolina to get in. Because, goddamn, they looked awful that Sunday. But thank God Carolina is also awful. 2 games, I don't even, how? I don't get it for Carolina. I really don't. But looking at these two teams so dreadfully, like, just not there. Don't, like, don't deserve, but, like, goddamn, why are you here? Looking at them, it's like, who do you take? Who do you pick? And as much as it bothers me, I have to lean Philly. I have to lean Philly. I don't trust this Tampa team. Had they given me anything these last 2 weeks, I might have, because Philly's downfall has been awful. But Tampa's looked really awful. And again, very lucky that they got to play Carolina for the final week of the season. They don't have that luck anymore. And I don't care what Philly's injuries are or what they are. This Philly team has the pieces to beat Tampa. And if you pick Tampa, I don't hate it. Because, God, I don't want to bet on this Philly team. But I don't trust Tampa enough. So I'm taking Philly. -3 again. I hate. I wish it was like 3-5 or 4, so I could take Tampa plus the points. But at 3, I'm gonna take Philly on the points. And with 43.5, I don't know what I'm gonna get from Tampa's offense at this point. Yeah, Philly's defense look awful, but I don't know what I'm gonna get from Tampa's offense at this point. They haven't showed up the last couple of weeks, so I don't know what you want. So with that, I'm taking the under 43.5. Philly straight up, Philly to cover, under the points. And before anyone says anything, Justin, I know you're somewhere out there. Me picking all the favorites to win their games, knowing damn well one of them is probably going to lose. It's how I feel. Because, who do you want me to? I don't trust Miami in cold weather. I don't trust Pittsburgh. Don't trust Green Bay. Don't really trust Tampa, but I can't trust Philly either. Rams, you could definitely make an argument for. Texans, you can make an argument for. If you're feeling really confident, maybe Miami, but I'm not trusting Miami in cold weather. Rams, you could definitely make an argument too. Houston, you can make an argument too. That's why I really like this Lions-Rams game, because this game could legit go either way. But I'm taking all the favorites. We'll recap it one more time. Cleveland, straight up. Cleveland -2.5, over 44.5 over the Texans. Chiefs straight up. Chiefs -4.5 over the Dolphins and under 44 points. Bills straight up. Pittsburgh to cover +10 because I don't trust the turnovers. Over 36.5. Dallas to win. Dallas to cover. Going to be under the 50.5 against the Packers. Detroit -3. Detroit straight up and over the 51.5 against the Rams in a very exciting game, I'm hoping. And Philly straight up. Philly -3 and under the 43 as they travel to Tampa and defeat the Bucs. And with those wildcard picks, that is all for me today. Thank you all for tuning in for my wildcard picks. And with videos like these, it's always interesting to see how much time I take when I actually go game by game. A lot of editing for this one. But that is going to be all from me. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe to the video. Follow me on my Twitter, CanadianCatCP, Instagram, The Blind Canadian Cat, and hop to my Discord. All the links will be down below. And I am Catherine on the Blind Canadian Cat YouTube channel. I say meow, I roll intros, and dear God, my Baltimore Ravens, with the way this AFC looks, you should be able to do your job. That's all I ask. With that, I'll enjoy my wildcard weekend, and I hope y'all will do the same. Choose peace, accept love, and have big trust. Good night, Internet.